So after that, we come to find out that they were legally married.
Okay. The
but
two women.
The two women were legally married,
Okay.
but they each had like their partners. And this is like a couple days before closing. Like, I think we had already lifted full CR. Like, everything was lifted.
Scary.
And the bank at that time required an ID to obviously verify the account.
Sure.
Her passport had expired during COVID. She's standing in line at the bank, like literally just praying. Like, if this is meant to be, it's meant to be. If not, then like this is the end, right? Like, we're screwed.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalowski, and today we have Luis.
You got it.
Peraza?
There you go.
But
You
is that the
nailed it.
white way to say it?
No, that's right.
Okay, good. All right. Luis is an agent with Finest City Homes and the founder of the Peraza real estate team. Did I say that? I mean, you're the founder. Right?
Yeah, we can loop me in there.
Okay, I like that. Per his IG bio, he is an advisor for the next generation, which I really love that. And Luis reached out to us a few months back, and we've been trying to schedule this, so I'm pumped you're here today. Luis, welcome to Behind the Lockbox.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited, and I'm glad special guest Gwen is here.
She's driving me crazy today. For everyone, I think everyone knows, but like I batch episodes, and so we just recorded with Chloe Brown from Bridge House, and she was pumped to see Chloe, and she was like, then she also really loves Max, so then I stupidly left some of her toys out, which crap, I see one under the taco table right now.
Don't tell her.
I know. I'm like, don't see it. And she was like squeaking it. I literally did the intro. I was like, hi, everybody. Welcome to Behind. She's like, arr. And I'm like, and I was going to leave it in, but then she wouldn't settle. And anyway, I was like, oh my God, Chloe, I'm so sorry. I felt so frazzled.
Cute.
Yeah, she's the best. But typically she's not here because, she's a barker sometimes. So, right, Gwen?
She's been good today.
She's been decent. I think she got her yayas out with, Chloe and Max. And then you guys were like, she's not that. I'm like, just wait.
Well,
They're like, she's not barking. Yeah.
She's ready for nap time.
I know. So anyway, well, okay. You've been listening. So I know you've got a couple stories for us. And we were like briefly talking about COVID and like, how burned out we got and everything else. But where do you want to start?
The first one that comes to mind, just because I was thinking about it on the way up.
Yeah.
The first one is, I had a property showing one time. Okay. This is in Rancho Del Rey. My office is in Chula Vista.
Okay.
So we operate mostly in South Bay.
For sure.
We had a client who we went to go show a condo to or townhouse to.
Mm-hmm.
Scheduled showing. People still live there. We walk through the front door, open everything up.
Yeah.
And when we were touring the downstairs, we heard like something upstairs and we're thinking, that's weird. This is a scheduled showing. Like there shouldn't be anyone in here.
Oh God.
And so we finish, living room, dining room, the kitchen.
So you had not made it upstairs
no,
yet,
not
but
yet.
You hear something.
Yeah. We hear something. I kind of hear like water running.
Oh boy.
Yeah, water running. So we end up finishing the downstairs. We check out the patio. And my mom and I start walking upstairs to go show the 2 or 3 bedrooms on the second story. And we go to open up what seems to be a bathroom door, and there's a shower running. Shower fully running, fully on. And at this point, it had been running for 10, 15 minutes because we were downstairs showing the first half of the home.
Oh my God. Was this tenant occupied or was someone living like
it was owner occupied?
Okay.
It was owner occupied. So again, scheduled showing, like we weren't
like,
late.
The door, you're like, hello?
Yeah, we weren't late by any means.
Oh my God.
Luckily, it was locked. But long story short, we ended up showing the whole property except for that bathroom without them knowing that we were there.
They never came out.
They never came out.
So we don't know who was in there.
No.
But I'm assuming it was one of the owners.
Yeah, or like a kid or somebody.
Or like a high schooler that was home or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've had on this podcast, people have told I'm now drawing a blank on who it was, but it was a guy. He went in to show the property and had the schedule showing. He was like, oh my gosh, he had coffee on the way there. He's like, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to go right before like my clients get here. So he goes to go to the bathroom thinking no one is there. So he's just like, I don't know what bathroom he was doing, but he was like on the toilet and he looks over and the tenant is asleep.
No way.
In the bed. And he was like, ah! And he like just quickly like gets out of there and like sneaks out.
So you had the door open.
He had the door open.
Oh
the bedroom door was open and the tenant still never heard him. I'm like, was the tenant alive? Like what was happening? And he's like, crazy. I've never been so scared in my life. Or we walk in on like squatters living there. I had another one where the bathroom door was locked and someone who had been broken into the property locked himself in the bathroom.
Right.
I mean, we see stuff all the time, but like it's startling.
Okay, I do a lot of open houses.
Yeah.
And when you're doing open houses, you inevitably have to go to the bathroom at some point, right? If you're there
100%.
2, 3, 4 hours, you have to go to
Yes.
the bathroom.
Yes.
So I always struggle to figure out, do I leave the door open? Do I close it? Do I lock it? Do I
Because,
lock
like,
the front door?
I also
Like,
want to hear if somebody comes in,
exactly,
but I don't want to pee with the door open. But like
exactly.
at the same,
I
the
think
struggle
about
is
that all the
real.
time.
And a lot of times it's funny. The last open house I did, I had some friends come through and I was like, can you please stay here for a second? Because I need to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom. Can you just like guard the door
Yeah.
for me? Like, please.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. The struggle is real with, do you do this? Do you keep like toilet paper in your car?
Napkins.
Yeah,
Not
same thing.
toilet paper,
It doesn't
but
matter.
napkins, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for girls, I feel like we need like, I have napkins too, but I have like a little kit because you'll be out showing property all day.
Yeah.
You'll get to a vacant property that's like staged on lockbox or whatever. And that's, of course, the moment that you need to go to the bathroom
Yeah.
because you've been chugging water all day long.
Exactly.
And there's no toilet paper or there's no anything. And I had one of my other agent girlfriends be like, oh my God, that's brilliant. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I got sanitizing wipes, like, because sometimes we
Yeah,
tour some
it's
nasty properties
gross.
where it's like,
It's bad.
no, thank you.
But hey, if you're going to the bathroom at Petco Park, you can go to the bathroom in a vacant listing. You'll be
100%.
fine.
Sometimes you just gotta like, air dry and go, for us girls anyway. Yeah. That was TMI. Anyway. Okay. Well, I'm glad that they did not see you.
Yeah, so that was a crazy story, and I tell that
Sneak right back
I
out.
tell that to clients every once in a while whenever there's an awkward silence during showings. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, one time I walked through a property and
Good.
this happened.
Yeah.
Breaks
Because
the silence.
it does break the silence. And I think that it's the reason, I know you've heard me say this, like it's the reason I started the podcast, right? I just needed something creative and fun to like get together. And also it brings up like we've never met before,
Right.
which I love. And
Yeah.
now it will happen where like we're going to collaborate on this stuff, or I'll be like, oh my God, this is Luis's listing. Let me text him, that
Exactly.
kind of thing. But not only the great thing that comes with all the networking and the collaboration on that, but like people don't know what we go through. You know what I mean? Whether it's gross, scary, funny,
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. Like
Yeah.
people have no idea that we're literally walking into some of these properties. And we also talk about this about being a female in the industry. By the way,
Oh,
Luis's
100%.
girlfriend is here and I keep looking at her. She's going to be on the podcast next. But as a female in the industry, we are sometimes putting ourselves, we're meeting clients. I did a funny reel on Instagram. I don't know if you saw it last week, where it was like me in my car and I was like going to meet a total stranger at a property that I've never even been to. Like it happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where we sometimes just put ourselves in these dangers, and men have to be careful too. But
Yeah.
for us females, it is
Way more exposure.
way more exposure and dangerous. And like our
I
phone
agree.
numbers are out there. Our photos are out there. We're
Yeah.
posting on social media.
Yeah.
They can follow us. Like I post personal stuff along with, business things and whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm
Exactly.
so sorry. She's
No,
like
it's okay.
obsessed with you.
No, she's
So anyway, but we have to be careful, and you never know what you're going to come across. And so it's just that type of situation.
yeah.
So
And we talk about that all the time.
keep
okay.
going.
She
I'm
can
going to
sit here.
grab her.
We talk about that all the time. Just in our office, I would actually say most of our agents are female.
Yeah.
And so we constantly are having those conversations about like safety measures and like being alert and
Not doing open houses alone.
Yeah.
Like that's been something too that like, I don't know. Are you doing open houses alone? I'm trying not to, whether it's a lender coming or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I was on a team and like we would sometimes like do open houses like with the people on our team.
Mhm.
It's tough because you want to be the one, right? You want to be
Exactly.
there. You want to get the leads or whatever the, case may be, or the client expects you to be at the open house, right? But it's definitely, it's one of those situations where there was years ago that I was at an open house and this guy came in, and when your body goes into like fight or flight, like,
Oh yeah.
in your gut something is wrong.
Mhm.
And so I knew in that moment, like I just stood outside and let him tour the property by himself.
Yeah.
And then I closed up and I left. And it
Yeah.
was Seth O'Byrne's listing, like in North Park. This was years ago, like
Yeah.
2016, 2017. And I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. So
You had a situation like that up in Oceanside about a year ago with just a weird person.
It was just weird energy.
Yeah.
You just know. I know. I should have set you up a mic. I really should have. Why didn't you tell me she was coming? We could have
We
said it
didn't know until this morning.
Damn it. Okay. It's okay. We're going to save you because you're coming
Yeah,
back.
she'll
for
come
sure.
back.
And then you can come back and we'll all three sit here.
Exactly.
Put her in the hot seat. You can sit next to
There
me.
you go.
I
Sounds
love
like a
it.
plan.
Okay. Perfect. So anyway, okay. Do you have another story? I know we could go off on the dangers and the
Okay.
scariness all day long.
I have another crazy one.
Ooh, hit me with it.
Okay, so we had a client. I think it was a referral from somewhere. It might have been like an Instagram lead or something.
Okay.
Um, we ended up we had to sell their mobile home in Poway,
Okay.
and they wanted to go live in a single family residence like in Ramona, out in
Sure.
the outskirts. That's what they could afford at that
Sure.
time. This was
Makes sense.
2021, I think.
Okay.
2020 or 2021.
Okay.
It was what we thought at the initial like conversation and meeting. We thought it was a mom and daughter, and I think they each had a younger daughter. One of them had a daughter, something like that.
Okay,
Long
okay.
story short, we didn't really know the dynamic.
Sure. And sometimes that's hard to find
Yes.
initially. Like you're just like,
Yes.
let me get there and see what's actually
Exactly.
going on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after that, we come to find out that they were legally married.
Okay. The
But
two women.
The two women were legally married,
Okay.
but they each had like their partners. But the reason for this, we came to find out after basically closing escrow, was that they were trying to immigrate the other one into obviously the United
wow.
States.
Oh, wow.
And their last thing that their immigration lawyer really wanted was an address, right? Like if you're a homeowner, that's a huge check mark
For
for your
sure.
case to be immigrated.
Right.
So that was
Okay. Wait. So the two women were citizens.
one of them was.
One of them was, and that's why they were legally married.
Correct.
Because they were the woman one was trying to get woman two here to be
Correct.
legal.
Correct.
And marriage is obviously legal here. So they
Correct.
necessarily weren't
No.
lesbians.
No.
They each had their separate like husbands or
Correct.
partners or whatever.
With kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that illegal?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I feel like that's fraud.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
So that's why you saw like you're like,
Yeah.
you each have kids, but this is weird. Yeah. Okay.
it was a very tricky situation. But we didn't know this until pretty much closing day. Like I think
Wow.
after is actually when she
Who
told
was
us
buying the property?
they were buying it together.
Oh, they were. Okay.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing, is they were buying
and that
it
will
together.
help her get her citizenship
Correct.
faster. Okay.
So then
okay.
the other half of the story is that
Oh my gosh.
they were using some ITIN program, right?
Sure.
Since one of them wasn't a citizen, they were
Right.
using an ITIN program to purchase their home. And Rodrigo Bayonne was doing the loan with Cross Country.
Okay.
He's like the biggest problem solver on planet Earth.
Love that.
The creditor needed 3 credit lines in order to basically get their loan approved, right? And so that can be a water bill, that can be a
Sure.
credit card, that can be a car payment.
Show something that you're here
Exactly.
paying. Because I'm
Exactly.
assuming woman number 2 did not have a social yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So no credit score.
No.
Yeah.
But so that's the criteria that the investor needed was
Yeah.
3 credit lines, show me something
Yes.
to link her to,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
So she only had 2. And this is like a couple days before closing.
gosh.
Like I think we had already lifted full CR, like everything was lifted.
Scary.
And she in a panic was like just looking through everywhere, right? Like
To try to find some sort of bill or something.
She ended up finding one of those mini gym membership cards, like
that she was paying into.
that she had been paying on automatic payment for years
I
without
didn't even
knowing.
realize
Didn't
it.
even know.
It's like all those like commercials where they're like, how many subscriptions do you really have? And
Yes.
like you have no idea. And you're like, oh shit, I really do pay in a lot to that.
So that happened. It gets better.
Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled PROPERTYSHOWCASEGROUP.com. PropertyShowcaseGroup.com. I'm back to talk about our sponsor and producer, Property Showcase Group. This is for all my agent and affiliate friends out there. Property Showcase Group has a special offer for you. The first 3 agents to email Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com will get 1 month free of social media management using code LOCKBOX. That's right, 1 month free. And they're offering 20% off your first video production using code LOCKBOX. For more information, contact Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com And don't forget to use code LOCKBOX or mention this podcast.
So then that was like, okay, we're good.
We're
Like,
good now.
We're good.
got
We can
3
close.
things yeah.
Exactly. So then the next thing that she needed was to wire the final EMD, I believe.
Sure.
So she was at the bank. She needed to send money from her savings account to escrow. And the bank at that time required an ID to obviously verify the account.
Sure.
Her passport had expired during COVID.
Oh my God.
So she
and
shows
she did not have a California just regular ID
nothing.
because
nothing,
she
nothing.
was still legal, and I'm assuming I don't
Yes.
know all the
I don't really know the intricacies either.
I don't either. Yeah.
Long story short, she had an expired passport. And so she shows up and she's telling us this story after we close, and she's standing in line at the bank, like literally just praying. Like, if this is meant to be, it's meant to be. If not, then like
Wow.
this is the end, right? Like, we're screwed. So she ends up getting to the teller. The teller says, "Can I get a form of ID?" And she's like, "Well, I have my passport, but it's expired." And she's like, "Well, I'm sorry. Like, we need a valid ID." And it just so happened that their system was down somehow, some way. So she's standing at the teller's desk for 15-20 minutes while the teller's talking to a manager to basically get an override. And my client basically tells her, like, it's the middle of COVID. I haven't been able to renew my passport.
yeah.
Like, this is what I have. I don't know what to
and
tell
I'm
you.
trying to close on a property.
Yes.
Like, clearly I got this far. What else can I show you that like I
Exactly.
am who I am?
Exactly. So long story short, 15-20 minutes later, the manager was like, "You know what? Okay, like, you're
There's nothing
good.
else we
There's
can
nothing
do.
else we can
Like,
do. Like,
yeah,
the systems
yeah.
are down. We can't
Right.
cross-check anything. Like, we're just gonna have to trust
And
you."
in COVID, a lot that we were kind of
That was
having-
common.
It was. We were just like, okay, this is unprecedented, but like, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna have to go with it. That isn't.
So she was able to wire the money and we closed.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. So many things went right for them. It's crazy.
Wow. I mean,
Crazy to story.
I love those kind of stories. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
hopefully she was able to get like her citizenship and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And that's a true friend right there, to be like, hey, let's let's get married. But again, I don't know if that's like allowed or fraudulent or
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
I'm not
But-
disclosing any
No,
names.
No, absolutely not. We have no idea what you're talking about, FBI, if you're listening. Just kidding. I would love to think that someone from the FBI is listening, but I don't think we're that big. So actually, I don't want them to be listening to this. Who knows? Anyway, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And she's like, if this is praying in line, like if this is meant to be like
Literally.
for the system to go down, because they probably would have just told her
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that would have been it.
That
That would
would've
have
been
been
it.
the end of it.
Wow.
So it was very meant to be.
Have you talked to them? Are they still living out in Ramona?
They are still living out in Ramona.
That's amazing.
They're doing well. They
Yeah.
actually just sent us a referral, I think
Love
like
it.
2 weeks ago.
Hell yeah, you got them
Yeah.
through that. So you're like,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. So we'll see how that, I don't know how that's going to go. If that's going to be
When you guys come back together, you're
number
going to be like,
2.
so remember when I was talking to you and that
Yeah.
referral, I have a story about them. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
That's so
But
funny.
yeah, they're doing
Oh my
well.
gosh,
They're
that's
still out in
good.
Ramona.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a third one?
Nothing that comes to mind right
Do you want
now.
to play a game? Because this might
Yeah.
invite some stories. for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. You've heard me play this game before, haven't you? Have you listened? Maybe not. Okay. So it's called Punch List.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit you with 3 questions.
Okay.
Okay. So I have a few here that I kind of like go between. So let me see what's okay. Well, no, you already answered this one. What's the weirdest situation you've ever walked in on? I'm going to say probably the guy in the shower.
The shower was pretty
I
weird.
still want to know who's in there.
It probably was like a son or a daughter,
had
like
to
a
have-
high schooler that was changing after school.
I
or
wouldn't be
something.
surprised, because if the parents are like, yeah, we'll be out. And then the
Yeah.
kid's like, I'm going to go home, and no communication.
Yeah,
back and forth.
it had to be, because it
Yeah.
wasn't the primary bathroom. It was the
Yeah.
guest hallway
Yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
So
What is the craziest request that a client has ever made?
Ooh,
This could even be like repair requests and stuff too, not just of you. You had
oh
anything
shit.
like
Let me
that?
dig. There has to be
There
something
has to be
good.
something. Okay, we'll go to the next one,
Yeah.
because while you're thinking, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet
This
peeve.
can be life or personal, and my list is long, so
Biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
As messy as I can be, I don't like a lot of like stuff. Like on the
That's good.
ground,
You have,
on
he
the
has cha- he has
counters.
chaotic. Is this true? He has chaotic messes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like clutter.
No, I don't like
Yeah.
clutter at
It
all.
needs to be organized chaos.
Yeah.
I'm like that too.
I just moved a couple months ago and we don't have very much furniture.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it that way.
Yeah. I don't, have you like toured a property where you're like, you go in and you're like, it's like a space like this, right? But they've got like a big
Oh my
sectional and like
gosh.
all this heavy, big furniture. And you're like, I always say to my client, okay, I know you don't like what you see, but look how much you can actually fit in this place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm with you. I don't love a lot of like,
Yeah.
especially in smaller spaces.
But then it's like, okay, I'm on this couch and I don't have the ottoman that goes to it and I'm not comfortable. So maybe I should get the ottoman. But then the
and then it
space is going to
starts
look
grow.
smaller.
But then it starts to grow.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It multiplies.
Yeah, it does.
It multiplies.
It does. I know. I'm with you there. Okay. I'm really interested in this one. If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
Speaking of FBI, I did want to be an FBI agent.
I thought you were going to say like you went out for it or tried.
No,
Amazing.
FBI.
Well,
probably.
you had told me, so your mom does real estate.
Yeah.
So, and you were helping her for quite a while before you got licensed.
Yeah.
What were you doing before all that?
So I was in college. So I was actually home for spring break. I'm very
You're a
young.
baby.
I'm very young. Yeah. I'm 27.
Oh,
I've been doing this for 5 years, which
God love
seems
you.
insane.
well, it probably feels like 20.
It does. It does.
I've been doing it almost 10 and it feels like 30. So I get it.
Yeah. So prior to that, I was at Gonzaga University. I got my bachelor's in finance.
you.
I got my master's in business. And when I was home for spring break,
Yeah.
that's when COVID happened.
And then you got stuck.
So I got stuck.
Yep.
I saw the opportunity with my mom. I finished on my classes online,
Aw.
and then now I'm here.
Did you get to walk at Gonzaga?
Not for my master's program. For my bachelor's, I did.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
So this, okay. Well, master's is, you know,
Yeah,
they're like
it's-
whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
It is a big deal, but I don't know.
No, it's a very big deal. But to what you're like, at least you got to
I
walk
heard it,
once. There
yeah.
was a lot of college kids, obviously, as we know, that in
Yeah.
2020 they didn't get to walk or do any of that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that sucks because that's like such a big deal. So
My brother graduated high school in 2020, and he didn't get to walk.
that sucks.
Yeah, he didn't have
Mhm.
prom either.
Oh no.
So we did a little mini prom at our house.
Oh, that's so,
Just him and his girlfriend. It was so cheesy.
that is
Like
so adorable.
middle of
though.
COVID,
But
yeah.
good for you guys
Yeah.
for pivoting. I mean, I think about that all the time. Like all the experiences that like we got to experience, you know what I mean? And then things were cut short, or even, you know, everyone at first was like, oh, that'd be great to like do classes at home online, but
It sucked.
not really.
It
No,
sucked.
it would suck.
Yeah.
And even you were in college, you were still, even though it was master's and it's a higher degree, like regardless, like that's tough for sure. So
Yeah. Yeah, but it all worked out.
good. I'm much, much older than you. So I graduated college a very long time ago, which
Where'd you go to school?
ASU.
Okay.
I'm from Arizona originally.
Nice.
So yeah, I just turned 41 like a month ago. So
Happy late birthday.
thank you so much. I can't believe I was like, wait, where did 40 go?
Wait, so you're March.
March 19th.
She's March 8th.
We're both Pisces. I love it. I can't wait for you to come back on. I know. I told her, I was like, wait, you're going to come. She's like, no. Okay. And I was like, yes. So we'll get you here. We'll put her in the hot seat.
Yeah.
That'll be so fun.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to have to do that next month. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's put it on the
do that.
calendar.
Let's do it. I love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
This was so
great.
fun. Yeah. And if you think of any other stories,
Wait, remember when you showed
Oh.
that I almost beat up the boyfriend?
Oh.
okay, hold on.
How did I forget
Wait
that?
a minute. Tell me. We have
How
time.
did I
Let me look
forget
at the
that?
time. Oh, yeah. We got time.
Okay. Okay.
This is why you brought her. I love this.
Okay. I don't know how I blanked on that one.
What?
This just happened recently.
What happened?
So this was a couple months ago.
Okay.
We were showing. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, we were showing our clients a property in Point Loma,
Okay.
right by like sports arena area.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing. Scheduled showing. This home had been on the market for I think a couple weeks at this point.
Okay.
Scheduled showing. Everything was ready to go.
Was it on lockbox or was the agent there with
It
you?
was on Lockbox.
Okay.
It was on Sentry.
Okay.
We were a little bit late. We were like 15 minutes late,
Okay.
20 minutes late. So nothing crazy.
Right. Right.
So we show up to the property. I always knock very hard when I
Yes,
get there,
Same.
just so that I don't want to see
care if
anything I
it's a
don't want to.
tenant.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you there have been people that have walked in on people pleasuring themselves,
Yeah.
like on the couch.
Oh, I can
swear to God.
imagine.
It was just like this episode came out a couple months ago, and I about fell off the couch. Like I was like, I was like, did you see anything? And she's like, I mean, yeah, like I am forever traumatized, and like close the door, and it was a tenant, and so she just sorry, I totally like hijacked
That's
this, but like
crazy.
it was. I'm traumatized and I wasn't even there. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So you knock really because
Yeah, so
I do that whether it's the owner, tenant. I always
Yes.
knock before it's
Same.
Yes.
So I
yes.
will knock, I will
Mhm.
open, and then I will knock again, and
Yep.
then I will say like, "Hello, anyone here?"
Yep. Same.
So same thing. I open up the door. I pull out the key from the Sentry. Open up the door. I knock. Do the whole thing, and I,
Mhm.
I kind of step into the walkway. It's me, my mom, and then my 2 clients behind us.
Okay.
And it was this little townhouse, 2-level townhouse,
Sure.
kind of compact, so you can hear anything and everything, right?
Right.
So I walk in the front door and I hear someone upstairs like, hello, like, hello, is someone here? And I'm like, yeah, we're here to show the house. Like,
You know.
like, do you need us to step out?
Right.
And she's like, yeah, 1 second. So we like go outside.
Sure.
She comes down, hair's wet, like she was in the shower or about to get in the shower.
Oh my God. Had you gotten there on time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would have walked in on her in the shower.
Exactly.
Again. Yeah.
Again.
Again.
All the shower stories today. So she ends up coming outside and she's visibly like pissed off.
Oh.
Like she's upset. Come to find out, she's like an Airbnb person that's in there, which you're not even supposed to Airbnb in this place to begin with.
Oh shit.
So she was an Airbnb like tenant staying in this townhouse. And I believe her boyfriend or someone she knew basically was living next door. I don't really know exactly what's
And was
happening.
do you know if this was like, what did they tell you? Did it say anything like tenant
No.
occupied, vacant? Like,
No, nothing.
So there's, thanks to the agent.
Yeah.
So there's like nothing in the confidential
Nothing.
remarks to give you any clues of whether it's owner occupied, tenant, whatever.
No.
Okay.
So at this time, we're standing outside, and before she comes down, we see this guy like kind of, I think, walk through the back patio into the unit, something like that.
Okay, that makes sense if he was like truly like
Yeah,
next
yeah,
door or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then she comes down. She's like, "Sorry, like, what are you doing here?" Essentially, and I'm like, "Well, we have a showing. Like,
Yeah.
did the agent not tell you?" And so then we start to put 2 and 2 together that she's not like a permanent tenant there.
Right.
She's an Airbnb person.
Sure.
She's like, "Give me 10 minutes and like I'll let you guys come in."
Okay.
So sure enough, we go in the property and she's mad. She's like, "This is unacceptable. Like, what the heck? Like, you guys are invading my privacy." I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. Like, here's my business card. You can have the
Yeah.
agent call me if you want."
Yeah. You're like,
So she steps out the back door.
Okay.
And we're showing the unit, show the downstairs, show the patio. We go upstairs,
Mhm.
and this guy that we had seen a couple minutes earlier outside steps into the unit and like comes upstairs when we're showing the property.
oh boy.
And I'm standing in the like upstairs banister, like looking over the living room, and
Yeah.
he's standing there with me, and he's basically like, what the you guys? What are you trying to do? Like, why are you acting all weird with my girlfriend and stuff?
Oh God.
And I'm like, listen, I apologize. We knocked. We came in. She told us that she was, we needed to step out. We did. She stepped out and then we came in. Like, we're not trying to do
sorry.
anything. Like, we
will make this
apologize.
quick.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
we apologize. We're almost done. We're going to step out.
Right.
And he kept trying to like provoke me. And I'm like, listen, man, we're done. We're going to walk out. We apologize. Here's my business card. If you want to call me or if you want to submit some sort of report later, like, please do it.
Right.
But we did have a showing, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure the miscommunication that happened.
Right.
And for a split second there, I thought he was going to like pick me up and throw me over this loft area because he was like this stocky, like military guy.
Oh God.
And I'm not a big guy. I mean, I'm like 5'7", weigh like 150 pounds. And this guy with the right force could have just thrown
chucked
me.
your ass.
Oh, yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, gotta go. Bye. And just walked
Mom,
downstairs.
let's go now.
Yeah. And at this point, like she walked out with the clients and I was like, I don't want them to be here for whatever's about to happen if something happens. And so that was the story with that.
My God.
Yeah.
And okay, what happened on the back end? Did you call the agent?
So then
I
I
called that listing
yes.
agent so quick and been like,
Yes.
what the is going
Exactly.
on?
So if I remember correctly, I ended up texting her like, hey, so-and-so, just wanted to let you know, like there was a tenant in here, like there was some miscommunication, like I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, they're super pissed off.
Yeah, they're
He
really
almost chucked me over
yeah,
the
they're like
banister.
they're like really upset. I just want you to know that they might reach out and
Yeah.
like, there was some miscommunication. She's like, oh yeah, it turns out that there was an Airbnb person in there that I wasn't aware of. The seller didn't tell me, like I apologize.
Okay.
And that was
I mean,
pretty
if she
much the
didn't
end.
know, like,
Yeah.
that's fair, right? But especially if you're not supposed to be like Airbnb
Yeah.
it, you know what I mean?
It's a townhouse.
We
like,
there's, a lot of HOAs
Yeah.
in that situation are like 30-day minimum or
Mhm.
whatever. And now for anyone who doesn't know San Diego, if it's in the city of San Diego, which that is, you have to have a license to do that. So, wow, that's great.
yeah.
That's so
That was a
scary.
little frightening.
That's so
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
This is why you brought her, huh?
Yeah.
I see why you keep her around.
Yeah, exactly.
I like this one. Yeah. Well, okay. Think of more. I'm going to leave that to you.
Oh, we'll
you
have
have some stories for me. And then if he needs to give us any more details, you can do that. So
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
This was so fun,
this was
guys.
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Please don't forget, subscribe on YouTube. If you're not subscribed,
I will.
go subscribe.
I will.
Instagram at Behind the Lockbox. Leave us a kind review, of course. And don't forget to follow and download the show on Apple and Spotify. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.